are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And this is the picks show for week 3. There's 16 games. We're going to get right at it. Unless there was something newsworthy you thought to bring up.
Well, Adrian Peterson has been basically benched or excluded from all team activities. That was breaking news on CBS Sports. So he's out till his legal issues are resolved. So he will, what will he plead? No contest to those charges, probation, community service, and he'll be back in I'll say by week 5 he will be playing.
That's reasonable. And if he wants to at least partially repair his damaged rep, but one step that would work is those games that he misses, take those game checks and devote them to the proper charities that are devoted to that sort of thing.
Yeah, but he can't do that either. 7 kids. His child support is probably a third of his check.
See, I hadn't thought that deeply.
And
well,
strippers don't work for free.
Well, that's true, but maybe he can count on some of the next boyfriends murdering more of his children. And maybe that's part of the whole plan.
So that's bad. Oh, that's dark, deep, disturbed, and twisted.
Yeah, I don't feel clean after that myself.
I was gonna say the strippers want you to make it rain, not hail, as in throwing coins. Let's make it hail. That's Canadians with their coins.
Yeah, the
loonies and toonies make it hail. We make it hail in Canada. No rain. Oh shit.
Though it's been years since I've been to a strip bar, but here in Canada, the strippers, wouldn't have to collect the money. They'd just walk around with a big round magnet on a chain. It would pick it all up off the stage. So.
Yeah, they look like a fucking you're on the beach with a metal detector.
Yeah, pretty Anyway, well, this went sideways really quick, so shall we get to the games?
Sure. Little lighthearted, dark fun.
All right.
And for those who we offended, fuck off. Who cares?
Exactly. The name of the show is Offensive Lines. Okay, the Thursday night game. Tampa plus 6.5 at Atlanta.
We're not betting a Thursday night game.
No, especially not this one, especially because Thursday night games tend to favor running backs, which Atlanta has not shown any ability to run the ball.
But they also favor the home team.
Yeah.
Right? As we've seen in the past.
This is complete stay away. No. For our pool picks, though,
I'm taking Atlanta.
Okay, I think I'm going to take Tampa Bay simply because
they almost beat the Rams.
No, but Rainey started to run the ball well, and Atlanta's defense might as well not show up, really. I'm taking...
Tampa's not Cincinnati.
No, but I'm getting 6.5. So,
and Tampa Bay's defense isn't Cincinnati's either.
No. I'm obviously not comfortable with it, but I am going to take Tampa Bay. Plus, for a Thursday night, it's a relatively short road trip.
Yeah, but they beat an offensively challenged, or they hung with an offensively challenged Carolina team and hung with just challenged Rams team and lost, both at home. I don't expect them to be better on the road to cover. Well, Roddy White could be out, but Julio Jones, bitch.
He's probable. Julio's probable too, but
he'll play.
I think so too.
Probable just means he got a ding. That's everybody's probable. I'm probable to get out of bed tomorrow.
Until Atlanta's defense shows that they can really stop anybody, though, I don't think they should be laying 6.5. But okay.
Okay, moving on.
Moving to the Sunday games. Baltimore -1.5 at Cleveland.
I don't want to touch this game either.
No.
I don't know if Baltimore's good, Pittsburgh's bad, Cleveland's good, New Orleans is bad. It's too fuck. And I think Vegas is in cahoots with the NFL to try and get everybody to 9-7 and 8-8 so that you can't bet on these fucking games. Because, if anybody has a definitive answer on why you would go one way or the other, send us an email, offensivelines@shaw.ca, because I haven't got a fucking clue. If either of Joe Flacco's brutal. Is their defense any good? I don't know. Pittsburgh stinks. The Saints defense stinks. Ryan and Peyton are fighting on the sidelines. If you're a playoff team, shouldn't you beat Cleveland?
Well,
yeah. They're gonna fuck that win over New Orleans could fuck us in our bet.
Well, yeah, and don't forget they almost took it to Pittsburgh too. I think the takeaway from the AFC North so far this season is that Pittsburgh is terrible, which is good because we bet them on the under, and that Cincy's pretty good, which is good because we took them to win the division. As far as Baltimore and Cleveland, I'm with you. It's a stay away. I don't know who these teams are at all. That said, in a pool, I'm going to take Cleveland at home.
Me too.
Hoyer does not look terrible thus far. Baltimore at home on the Thursday night. I didn't see the game, and I know they dominated, but my kicker, much to your hatred, did kick 4 field goals, but those were all on drives that stalled within the 10. And that says to me that Baltimore's offense still has a lot of problems.
Yeah, and Flacco has a lot of problems. So I'm going Cleveland too.
Okay.
Underdogs are ruling this year so far at home anyway. I'm taking them at home when I can.
Okay. Next up, we have Dallas -1.5 at the Rams. Now, based on the Niners game that I saw with Dallas and what you've told me about the Tennessee game, I'm tempted to take Dallas.
Well, I'm thinking this wouldn't be a bad one to bet on Dallas.
Okay. Well, and that's what I was referring to. Like when I said take, I meant for us collectively.
Yeah.
As the betting unit.
Did the Vikings not run fairly successfully on the Rams in that game? Dallas's running game was phenomenal. Now that could just be Tennessee's defense that I was worried about heading into the season. If you go back and listen to picks week 1, I was leery on taking them against Kansas City because of their defense. And then it came to life on week 2 that they sucked against the run like they did the whole preseason. So,
well, and this goes back to...
Let's keep this in the mix.
Yeah, it's definitely in the mix. I agree with you. And here's the other thing about this. I mentioned on the Tampa Bay discussion that Rainey had a really good game against the Rams defense too. So even though I thought the Rams defense was going to be good at the start of the year, and maybe they'll get there, it seems like they're pretty vulnerable to the run.
Well, and Howie Long's kid's out too.
Okay.
He's one of their better defensive ends.
Yeah,
so.
He is. And Dallas's offense is not a problem in general. They've got a premier running back.
Their
premier
defense
wideout.
Isn't either. Their defense isn't either. It's
and that's what you
vastly
said.
Underrated.
I want to see them. So this is definitely in the mix.
They shut out the Niners in the second half and only allowed 10 points in the last 6 quarters.
If you get away from one turnover for a touchdown in the Niners game and another turnover down at the 1, Dallas beats the Niners in that game.
Yeah.
That was the offense giving up extra points. And it sounds like Romo looked better. Not great, but...
Well, no, but that's why they're running. Because he can't throw it 40 times a game.
Yep.
He has problems making the long throw to the sidelines. That wide field throw. And some of them, he had Witten wide open and underthrew him 2 yards, and it was only like a 15 or 20-yard pass. So there's something not right still with his back. He doesn't have the power in his arm or anything anymore.
So
right now.
And I would say if they had a smart coaching staff, well, then you just redesign the game plan for,
that's what
short passes and let them. Oh, really? Garrett actually reacted to visual evidence.
I don't know
of what his team could do?
who's making the changes, but they just ran the ball pretty much at will.
Okay.
And that was the main part of their. They had the ball 41 minutes in that game.
Wow. Okay, so all right. So yeah, no, this one's definitely in the mix, but let's move on. Green Bay plus 1.5 at Detroit.
All these games are the same. Who's who? Green Bay struggled with the Jets, got blown out by Seattle. Detroit blows out the Giants and fucking struggles in Carolina. Now, the Carolina loss isn't as bad as Green Bay struggling with the Jets, but
neither defense impresses me in any way. And, I don't want to bet this one, by the way. I just want to go on record here. Detroit at home is definitely tough, always. But I would say both defenses are roughly equally inept. Green Bay has the better offense. I'm going to take Green Bay and the points, as meager as they are.
Yeah, I'm going to take Green Bay too. Hesitantly. Because I don't think Green Bay has really a better offense.
Yeah, I guess, Jordy Rogers,
Jordy Nelson,
Stafford, and CJ.
Megatron. There's what's the difference? Running backs.
Yeah, and actually, I'd probably prefer Joique Bell and Reggie Bush to a dazed and confused Eddie Lacy.
So I don't know.
But
I'm taking Green Bay.
Yeah, watch my Twitter feed because I don't know. I could see myself changing this pick about 5 times between now and Sunday.
Basically, I'm just taking Green Bay on reputation. There's no reason to take either team. They're equal. Defenses are pretty lackadaisical, and offenses are good, but they only each have a weapon. Like Randall Cobb was supposed to be a sleeper this year, but has he done anything the first 2 weeks? Really?
Yeah, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
he's a red zone threat. Like he doesn't move it between the 20s at all. But he's turned into a very nice little red zone threat for Green Bay. And Green Bay's O-line, we could go back and forth in that one. And like I said, I could see myself changing this pick back and forth all week.
No, it's just Detroit, when they have a chance to make a statement in the division, seem to fucking gag on their own tongue.
Yeah, the last time they crushed Green Bay was Aaron Rodgers wasn't there, so do you even call it the same team? I can't remember which of Green Bay's rotating backups last year played, whether it was Tolzien or Flynn or who it was. That said, they have a decent home field. But, okay. Gone completely circular in that one. Next game. Houston, -2 at the New York Giants.
Yes. This one is one we bet.
I think it's definitely in the mix.
I say we bet it right now because the Giants could be the worst team in football.
Well, the Raiders did move the ball well against Houston, and then it was just a bizarre series of turnovers
the Giants can't move the ball against anybody.
Yeah, I'm partially swayed by this Barnwell article I read on Grantland today.
You were the one that was high on the Texans.
Yeah, I am high on the Texans, true.
So then
I'm
don't
just saying we
Barnwell.
may not. If it moves to 2.5 in the course of this podcast, that doesn't change us in any way. Let's just put it in the mix, because we discussed after week 1, there's no need to jump on this for the most part. You know, if it was 2.5 and we thought it was going to go to 3.
I'm not jumping on it because it's the Texans. I'm jumping on it because it's the Giants.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Follow the bad teams.
Yes. And they're pathetically bad. They lost to a backup quarterback that we were nervous about when we found out Carson Palmer wasn't starting. If Palmer starts, what's the score in that game? Same as Detroit? Well, it was almost the same as Detroit. They put up 2 touchdowns in each game. And they couldn't stop Ellington. So are they going to stop Foster? Or Andre Johnson?
No, I love this game. I think it's almost certainly, but let's go through the slate and then we'll make our bets at the end.
Okay.
All right. Indy, -6.5 at Jacksonville.
It's -7 now.
Okay. And wow, I wrote down these numbers at about an hour before we started potting, so...
Yeah, the line's moving.
I don't trust this Indy team. I mean, in a lot of ways, I don't mind this game.
I don't mind this game at all. They couldn't do it. Jacksonville had trouble putting up anything against the Redskins.
But the Redskins got 10 sacks. Did Indy show anything resembling a pass rush at any point in that Philly game?
No, but they held Philly to 6 points in the first half.
True.
So
it seems like Jacksonville's real weakness is pass protection, and Indy has no pass rush.
Yeah, but Jacksonville has no running game either.
It is a desperation game for Indy, who had expectations of making the playoffs.
Well, remember last year when we took them at -8? Jacksonville's no better.
They may even be worse.
That's my point. And Indy's the same.
I think we took when we took that, though, it was Jacksonville in Indy.
No, they were on the road. We got a -8 when every other team was double digits, and we giggled because it was ludicrous. Everybody else was 11, 12-point favorites, and Indy was only 8, and they won by like 30.
Yeah. Okay.
25-30.
You're making a compelling case here.
There's nothing. I know 7's a lot. But,
well, I'm just worried in this year of the underdog where, dogs are 18 and 14, roughly, thus far.
No, 19 and 12.
Okay. But
Jacksonville's, this line should be 10.
Yeah, one of our other things, too, is Fade the Public, which is obviously coming hard down on Indy. But I've marked it as in the mix as a return game, though you made an extremely compelling argument there.
Nothing's changed between the two teams from year to year. Mathis is the only difference.
Yeah, we'll end up betting Indy, and Blake Bortles will come in like some sort of Superman savior.
Like Gebhardt was supposed to be the savior in the running game. Well, he's done fuck all. And I didn't see Darren Sproles get traded to Jacksonville this week, so...
I saw a GIF.
Andy's defense should be good.
I saw a GIF. I can't remember which writer on Grantland it was, but they just showed Gerhardt running at the line, and there is not a single Redskin on the his left, defense's right side of the field. Now, what do you think happens next? If you're a logical person, you might think he would take a 15-yard hole. But no, instead he runs into the ass of his offensive lineman directly in front of him.
So
yeah.
Well, you're not making an argument against that pick with that.
No, I'm certainly not. I'm really uncomfortable laying 7 at this stage of the game, but sometimes it's the right thing to do. Okay, but the next game up, Minnesota +10 at New Orleans.
Okay, we don't really need to talk about this game a lot. Adrian Peterson's out. Castle sucks. And the Saints at home will crush Minnesota.
But I don't want to bet it.
But I'm taking the Saints.
Yeah, we both took the Saints all over. I agree with you, but I don't want to take it.
No, but we should. Honestly, we should. The Patriots,
for at least one game, the other one was a surprise. Don't count out the team that is all looking around the locker room, looking at each other, thinking there are 52 of us on the roster other than Adrian Peterson, and you'll get that surprise effort. 10's too much to lay in that situation.
No, it's not.
I am taking New Orleans.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand you not wanting to bet it, but 10's not too much.
No.
It should be as much. It should be as much as the next game.
Which is Oakland plus 14 at New England.
I'm not betting this one either. Brady is not Brady so far this year. He looks like he did the first half of last year.
Yeah, though he wasn't asked to do anything. What did he have? Like 18, maybe 20 attempts in that last game just because they got up so big and they just, Ridley was pounding the ball. So I agree with you. Vegas set a perfect line to make me stay away from this game.
Why? 13 I wouldn't take it. Even though the Raiders and Giants are neck and neck for the worst team in football. But in our pools, I'm taking the Patriots minus 14.
Yeah.
Because the Raiders are that bad.
I'm going that way too.
And there's going to be no surprise fucking rally the troops for that one.
Well, I don't know what happened in the second half in that Miami game. Maybe there's something to the fact New England just can't play in the heat anymore.
No, Brady had no time.
Yeah, well, the old line.
I don't know what Miami's pass rush went this last week.
Yeah. Which brings us, nicely enough, to the next game. Which we cannot bet by our own rules, because I'm a Chargers fan. The next game is San Diego plus 2.5 at Buffalo.
This could be the early game, the best game of the early schedule on Sunday. Believe it or not.
Well, I'm going to be glued to it. Well, it's 2-0 and a 1-1 team. And the 1-1 team just beat the defending champs. So, quality-wise, yeah. And I want to find out what Buffalo's doing. I mean, I'm certainly not confident. For the first time this year, I'm actually going to take San Diego and the points.
I'm going the opposite way.
All right.
I'm going Buffalo. Chargers don't travel well to the east. I know they have a few games they've won in past years, but having to play Seattle and the emotions tied in with that game, to a Bills team at home. Yeah. Ryan Matthews is out. They kept I know San Diego has decent receivers, but it's not Jeffrey and Marshall. And the Bills shut them down on the road. Sammy Watkins is going to be a nightmare for the Chargers. And Spiller seems to be playing better. They still have Freddie Jackson. I'm not sold on E.J. Manuel, but I'm taking the Bills at home. In a large part because of the Chargers travel and having to play Seattle last week.
Well, and I'm going to add to that, too. I mean, that Seattle game was after an incredibly short week, playing late on the Monday night, traveling back home.
Against a physical defense, the first game.
Yeah, we've just played two of the rougher defenses in the league, and we're about to play a third. Yeah, I may end up switching that to Buffalo because one nice thing, when I've been going against San Diego, they've always been in the mix. Oh, that's just my raging superstition. But what you said about Spiller is actually really interesting, too, because this may finally be the year that Spiller lives up to the hype thus far. He looks fast and he looks good from what I've seen.
Yeah, contract years will tend to do that to you.
I suppose, but...
Spend the extra money on some HGH in the off season.
That's an investment in the future, boy.
Yeah.
Okay, the next game we also cannot bet. Tennessee plus 6.5 at Cincinnati.
That's too low.
I tend to agree with you, buddy.
That should be about 8.
You knew
and a
I was
half.
all on the Tennessee bandwagon, not because you cheer for them, but I'd watched them. They'd impressed me. Cincinnati, though, looks like they're hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah, it could be ugly. I could be out of this one.
The 6.5 may be partially influenced by the I would call
AJ
it
Green out.
Yeah. But
And if we couldn't stop
after that,
Dallas
they just
running, we're
started
not going to
throwing-
stop Cincinnati.
no, though Cincinnati's yards per carry is terrible, but they throw it to the back so much. Both of them. Cincinnati has the best 1-2 backfield right now in the league. In Giovanni Bernard and Hill.
Yeah, that doesn't help me any.
Yeah, no, and that's
After
why
the
I'm
Cowboys
saying
ran for 200 plus.
after I just talked about my discomfort about laying 7 against Jacksonville, I'm going to quite comfortably lay 6.5.
Yeah,
on
I'm taking
Cincy.
Cincinnati too. I don't want to be embarrassed at the end of the year. I can't pick with my heart.
No. Though, I mean, Locker is such a Jekyll and Hyde guy. He shows you such flashes of fucking brilliance and then stinks.
Hey, doesn't matter if I pick against them or not. I still want them to win. So
Oh, yeah, I picked
I'll be the
against San
happiest
Diego
guy
last
getting
week.
that one wrong.
You think I was crushed that Seattle didn't cover?
Well, the worst thing would be losing by a field goal and losing on both ends.
Well, that's what happened to me in the Arizona game. Chargers lost but covered.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's never a pleasant moment, but okay, the next game. The Washington racial slurs go to Philadelphia. They are 6.5-point underdogs.
I don't think Philly's beaten anybody by 6.5.
No, and they wait
think-
until the last 4 minutes to do it.
I think Philly's games are going to be close.
And
I don't
high
know why-
scoring.
I don't know why this is 6.5. Like Washington beat Jacksonville, so did Philly. Washington crushed them. Philly struggled. Then they sputtered out of the gate. I'm taking Philly to win and cover, but I don't want to bet on this game.
No, I really don't want to bet on this game. I mean, unless these interdivisional NFC East games are generally stay away. And I'm with you. I'm going Philly as well because of my own words from last night, which was Philly scares the hell out of me. It's still that feeling of the team I don't want to play.
And Kirk Cousins, how many times have we seen the backup come in? Even though
His
they've
games
talked
as a
all off
backup
season,
last year, he fucking stunk.
but they said all year, or all off season, that Cousins should be the guy and let him start over RG3, and then he comes in. The most popular guy in every city's a backup quarterback when you struggle. So he has a good game, and I want to see him do it again before I put any confidence in Washington.
And I think part of that was genuine team/coaching PR trying to light a fire under RG3's ass.
Yep.
You know, give him those fake, they who say I can't do it, you know, those they, because, you know, you've had a really rough road as an athlete thus far here, RG3. There's so many haters. You know, I think those were the same sort of flying bullshit to try to focus RG3. Because, seriously, watch anything from the last 3 games last year with Cousins. He sucked. He's an acceptable backup, but any team that trades for him as a starter is delusional.
Well, that's what everybody does. That's what I just said. Like, the backup quarterback, everybody loves him until you have to play him. We'll see what happens if they lose 34-10. If it's still...
And the very best, the guy who was the backup and came in and did it, Matt Castle, he's still just a fucking backup. If you look at it
got starter money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had the best performance of any backup because he was in a great system. Anyway. So, yeah, I'm taking Philly on that one, too. But I certainly don't want to bet it. I don't want to bet these contests between these starving mongrel dogs in the NFC East. Okay, next game up is off. San Fran at Arizona. This is due to the
Carson Palmer questionable status.
The nerve damage tingling in the shoulder.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
They finally said.
Yeah, they actually said it at the start of the Giants game when I turned it on because I'd watched the entire game from Carson Palmer the previous week because they were playing the Chargers. And I didn't see any injury, and I didn't hear anything about in the week. But yeah, it's affecting his grip on the ball and his range of motion in the arm.
That doesn't sound good.
No, it sounds very Peyton-like, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think the Niners defense might be a little better than the Giants. Touch.
Oh, the Giants, yes.
Yeah. So
I thought you were going to say than Arizona's, and I was gonna take umbrage at that. But
no, but if Arizona can get more than 10 points,
I mean, I'm not sure what I would lay on Arizona in this game. Probably
it'd be a
fair
pick 'em
number.
anyway. It'd be a pick 'em.
Yeah, well, and I would probably lay up to 5 on Zona at home. That home field is still vicious.
Yeah, but it'd be a pick 'em if Palmer was healthy.
So right now, with the game off, Arizona, once we get an actual line on this, we'll tweet out our picks in this game. How does that sound?
I'm taking San Francisco.
You're taking the Niners. I'm taking Zona, whoever they start thus far. Okay.
No, they won't have a line on it until they announce quarterback. And if they announce, I can't even remember his name, Stanton is starting, the Niners will be favored by a couple.
Yeah. Though the Niners certainly have not impressed me on either side of the ball this year.
The defense did pretty good against the Bears until they turned it over 4 times. That was the Dallas game. If you want to make the argument Dallas could have beat the Niners beat themselves in that in the Bears game.
That's really solid, boy.
So
I can't disagree with that.
The Niners defense hasn't played bad.
No,
but when you give up short fields in the fourth quarter, and
twice back to back when you have a lead.
Marshall's all-world receiver. Like, he's going to catch some passes. When you give him extra chances with the short field, you're going to get burned. So I think they go back to what makes them successful. Why they were throwing the ball in the fourth quarter, beyond me.
Good point.
And
because I predicted they would just be ramming it up the middle of that soft, chewy center of the Bears defense, but no. Well, and this goes to something you said years ago on this podcast. It's called the ego of the quarterback.
You got a lead. Okay, we'll let them open it up. Last year, the Niners made the NFC Championship game by running the football.
And the year before, they made the Super Bowl by running the football. And the year before, they made the championship game by running the football. No, but does this not fit perfectly into your argument that what happens is these quarterbacks have to be coddled and they have to have their ego stroked?
Yep.
So, yeah, Harbaugh falls in. Your argument was sound years ago, and it actually only becomes better with time.
And it shows you the same Peyton Manning, even though he's got all the records and they're throwing the ball in the fourth quarter up 7 late. with 3 minutes left.
In that Indy game, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, up a touchdown, and you just need 2 first downs, and the game's over. Oh, we'll throw it on second and third down, both incompletions. Like, you weren't ending the game with a first down running or throwing the ball there anyway.
No.
And they left Indy with timeouts.
And seriously, Monty Ball doesn't suck, or at least I wasn't led to believe he sucked. So
No, it's
why don't you run it 3 times? Burn off any of their timeouts. I can't recall how many they had remaining at that stage.
They would have had none. If they ran it 3 times, they would have had no timeouts left.
Yeah, so no, really valid point there.
So, okay.
And somewhat leads into the next game. Denver +5 at Seattle.
Before last week's game, I would have bet Seattle on this without really even thinking about it. But with Gates catching 3 touchdown passes against Seattle, and Julius Thomas playing for Denver, who's having a really good year so far, how is Seattle covering him if they couldn't cover Gates?
Well, and if Denver has brains, which I really believe they do, they'll look at that and figure out how they did it. You run the smaller, fasters. Emmanuel Sanders is going to take inside or outside in routes and just run around Sherman. And it may not be effective, but what that will do is they'll be able to take him away from the middle of the field where he can help out Chancellor against the tight end.
But that's why I can't even believe I'm going to pick this. I'm taking Denver. After watching what San Diego did to them with the tight end. I mentioned it last night. Browner's in New England. Chancellor and him were really good together. Chancellor by himself, I don't even know who their other safety is right now. But when you couldn't cover the tight end, Denver this year is doing what New England did when they had a tight end that was above average. What San Diego did with Gates for the last decade. They create matchup nightmares, and then they feed him the ball until you can stop it. And I don't know how Seattle's stopping it.
Well, part of that, though, was also something I don't know this Denver team can do. Is San Diego would get to 3rd and 3. 3rd and 3. That's not anything Peyton wants anything to do with. I really don't think Denver will be patient enough to replicate the San Diego game plan. I mean, San Diego only rushed for 3.26 yards per carry, something like that if you take Rivers' carries out, which, I think you should. But they were relatively consistent, so they would get into 3rd and short. And then, even though the rush was right in his face, Rivers still has that 1.5 second release and the ability to find the open man in that 1.5 seconds. I don't think Peyton has the patience. He likes things to go his way. When they don't go his way, he gets frustrated really quickly. And he always wants to hit that 15-yard out instead of being happy with the 6 yards and just taking it down. So he's never been able to grunt. I'm going to take Seattle in this.
Denver is going to duplicate San Diego's game plan. They've been focusing on the tight end the first 2 games. With the mismatches he creates, they have a better receiving core than San Diego.
By a factor of like 2.
So
I think this
Denver.
game is going to hinge a lot on Sanders. I'm taking Seattle for the reasons I've discussed, and I really look forward to this game. This game will be fun to watch.
It's definitely the game of the afternoon.
Yeah.
By far.
It's really interesting. I'm taking Seattle laying the 5, and this has nothing to do with them bouncing back after a loss. it really does have, in my mind, a lot to do with Peyton doesn't want to fit into a system. He wants to be Peyton. And I think he's going to try to be Peyton, and they will eat him up.
But nobody's talked about Seattle having 5 different players on defense. They think it's just the same team because Sherman's there.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not the same defense.
But the defense is still good. I mean...
It's still good, but they're playing one of the top offenses in the game. And I wouldn't put the Chargers at the top of the list.
Well, though actually...
They're good. The Chargers are good.
The Chargers were the number 6 DVOA offense of
good,
the year.
But
no, actually number 2. I apologize. That was number 6 on first down.
They're not Sanders, Thomas, and Thomas.
No,
Denver has every ingredient,
flashy, but they're very efficient.
And they have every ingredient.
Plus, as we discussed
I'm not debating
San
Diego. I'm debating Seattle.
Oh, I know. But we discussed Peyton yesterday with the arm flailing. Him in Seattle, when he can't do all of his adjustments, ever. How's that going to work?
When's crowd noise ever affected him? It's all silent anyway, for the most part now. Denver's going to win this game outright, I think. The boldest statement I've made so far this year, I think Denver wins this game outright. I don't think Seattle's
that's
defense...
your boldest statement of the season, and
I don't think Seattle's defense is as good as everybody thinks.
Okay.
We know Green Bay's offense isn't as good as everybody thinks because the Jets almost beat them.
That's true.
So hanging that Green Bay win on them is making it sound like they're the same defense. They're not. You don't lose 5 starters from a Super Bowl defense and you're the same team.
Yeah.
In that last preseason game, they played their starters against fucking Oakland for the first quarter and looked awful. I couldn't fucking believe it. They couldn't stop the run. Carr was picking them apart. Sherman was getting beat. I'm like, what the fuck's different? And then I read after, 5 new starters on defense. They may find their stride yet, but it's not there right now. And that's why I'm taking Denver.
Nothing you say is wrong. I disagree with you, but not strongly. It's a bold statement, and I like you going out on a limb. I'm taking Seattle.
And I hate Denver. I fucking hate Peyton Manning and the Broncos.
Well, and you hate Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, too. So, though the Seahawks have made us more money.
Yes. Well, we did make money on them beating, so...
Yeah.
Seattle beating Denver last year in the Super Bowl, so...
I think suffice to say, we don't want to bet on this one.
No. But I'm taking
Denver. I've got
Denver.
you down for Denver. I'm going Seattle. All right, next game up. KC plus 4.5 at Miami. This is a stay away for me, Boyd.
Yeah, me too.
I have no idea what these teams are. Yeah, I have no opinion on this.
Me either. Miami's the same. Miami's going to be the same as the last couple of years with Philbin, wishy-washy, just like he is. I think I said it last night, win 3, and then they'll lose 2. And they'll finish 7 and 9. They'll be there at the end, the last 3 games of the season. They'll be fighting for a wild card, and they'll lose that one crucial game, and it's over. So I'm taking Miami in this game, but not with a whole lot of confidence.
If it wasn't for Alex Smith, I'd probably take KC, and I'm still even leaning that way. But this is the epitome of a stay away for me. I hate the line. I hate both teams.
Who are you taking?
When in doubt, I'm gonna take the points this year.
Okay, I'm taking KC. Miami.
All right, the Sunday night game. Pittsburgh plus 3 at Carolina. Now, I like this game.
Yep.
I like this game.
Pittsburgh.
I like this game a whole hell of a lot.
That's my most favorite on the board.
Okay.
It's my favoritist on the board.
So you're like me and you want Pittsburgh, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? They're plus 3, plus 100.
Yeah, we're fading some nickels in our payout on this, but I love this game.
Yeah.
Way back at the top of the pod, we talked about Baltimore and Cleveland, and I said one of the takeaways in my mind is that Pittsburgh is terrible.
They are.
And Carolina's already overcome adversity.
And that defense
started the backup, and
great.
that defense, well, talk about changed starters, and shockingly, like, I thought Carolina's defense would take a huge step back with the turnover among their starters. They sat Greg Hardy and faced an explosive offense, and they gave up a lot of yards and no fucking points last week. I love Carolina in this game.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
So, are we betting that one right now?
Well, we're down to the very last game. Let's just get it off the board, and then we've already got 4 to talk about.
Okay.
So the Monday Nighter is Chicago plus 2.5 at the Jets.
I like the Bears.
I like the Bears, but do you like them enough to bet them?
Yes.
Really? Because, the one thing the Jets have done fairly well thus far is run the ball, and we just discussed how the Niners...
The Bears, yeah.
Could have sealed that victory by hitting the soft, chewy center of Chicago's defense.
But it's still Geno Smith. Like Chris Johnson had 21 yards against the Packers. The Packers defense sucks.
Yeah, but the Jets built a 17-0 lead, and I think the Chicago's defense and Green Bay's defense are twins.
But then why didn't they if they can run the ball that well, how come they didn't put that game away at 17-0?
Well, because, I don't know. I didn't see it. It appeared they just fumbled. Well, that 80-yard Jordy Nelson TD was just brutal tackling in the secondary. Chicago's, both Marshall and Jeffrey they were caricatures of themselves out there. I don't think the week has made them any better. They've got no speed. I'm with you. I like the Bears a lot on this, but I don't think I want to bet it.
Okay, we got 4 other ones that are in the mix, but I'm taking the Bears in our picks challenge.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so what we have left is Dallas Rams, Houston Giants, Indy Jacksonville, and Pittsburgh Carolina. And I think from our discussion, we might as well book Pittsburgh Carolina right now.
Yes. So, Carolina at home against the Steelers, -3. Our $10 bet pays $18.33. It has been placed.
All right. What do you like most out of the last 3? I think I like Houston at the Giants. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Houston -2 in New York to face the Giants. $10 bet pays $19.09. Okay. And what were the other 2? We got Indy, Jacksonville.
And Dallas Rams. I kind of
Indy.
prefer... You okay, so we're going to have to discuss this, because I was about to say I prefer Dallas.
Well,
but
I would
no,
say
do you know
that?
what? You made that insanely compelling argument
Well, Indy,
then supported. Let's do Indy. No, you were right. Or I don't know you're right, and I won't know till Sunday, but you know what? You made a great argument. Argument.
Indy -7 at Jacksonville. $10 bet pays $19.52. That is booked. And I want to change a pick. I know I made my boldest statement of the year. I'm going fucking Seattle. Kansas City put up 21 on them. Denver's defense can't stop anybody. I thought that was going to be a strength this year. They can't stop anybody.
Well,
They
yeah, and
can't.
that's a point I wasn't bringing up when Niles Davis, is that the backup in KC?
Yeah.
He was chugging for chunks against Denver.
Yeah, no. I'm going, give me Seattle, please. Change
Okay,
that.
I've changed
I was
that.
thinking about it. As soon as we went to the next game, I went, Denver's defense is awful. And San Diego's is good. So that's what made my change.
Fair enough.
After my boldest statement of the year, I fucking waffle on it.
That's courage. That's leadership there.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be, whatever our punishment is at the end of the year, I don't want to be wearing it, looking at it, filming it.
Well, you got to lead. One thing I don't have written down here in my sheets is who are we? Are we both going Dallas in that
Yes.
Rams game? Okay.
Dallas.
I just hadn't logged it because it was still up for debate.
Was there any other ones
No,
that we missed?
no, we are all logged. Those will go up once Raider Doug sends his picks in.
Yes.
And yeah, I'll just quickly summarize our bets. We have Houston -2 at the Giants for 1909. We have Indy -7 at Jacksonville at 1952. And we have Carolina at home versus Pittsburgh -3 at 1833.
Right on. Eventually, we're gonna have to start picking some dogs, but the when you're betting against the three worst teams in football, potentially, I don't see how we can get away from it. Like in the preseason, we rode Dallas because their defense looked abysmal, and they made us money.
Yeah.
So I see no reason to get away from a philosophy of betting against the really bad teams.
Well, you can't force yourself into taking dogs just
no, if
because.
it was no,
there's
no,
not
but
a dog on here I'm super comfortable with. You know, I don't see one here. So, I mean, I don't mind Tampa Bay, but I don't want to bet it. And, like, I do think Pittsburgh's overvalued.
The one good
can't
one we
understand
can't
why.
bet. The one good one we can't bet. Chargers.
Oh, yeah. Even then, you took Buffalo, and I don't blame you.
No,
a lot
but
of travel. But Chargers are a good team. Like, I
there
don't know.
was two I would bet.
I don't even know if they'll make the playoffs, but the Chargers are a good team, and they're fun to watch.
The two underdogs I would bet this week, Chicago and Chargers. Like to... Nah, fuck. You know what? If I was just betting, if you said, gun to your head, you got to put $20 on this, I wouldn't take the Raiders. I wouldn't take Jacksonville. I wouldn't take the Vikings as an underdog. Those are the only two I would pick. I know there's going to be more than that win.
Yep.
And cover. But looking at it, Cleveland maybe. If I had to, it'd be Cleveland, San Diego, or Chicago.
Yep.
If I had to.
No, I agree with you.
There's
on
some
that.
ridiculous lines here, 10 and 14. I wouldn't bet against those, but that's just us.
Okay, I think we
All
are
right.
done.
If you want to check out our podcast, you can listen to it on iTunes or at Stitcher.com for your Android device, offensivelines.ca, or you can follow us on Twitter at Offensive Lines or on our personal accounts at OLinesMarlon or at OLinesBoyd, Facebook.com/Offensive Lines, and if you want to send us an email, send it to offensivelines@shaw.ca. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon, and that was Offensive Lines Picks Week 3.
I'm a waffling bitch.
Degenerate fucking gambler.